Okay, after my last encounter with the campaigns of Marlborough from the Wargamer magazine, which turned out to be rather disappointing, I thought it only right to go with No Peace Without Spain, done by Compass Games and designed by Don Herndon. Now, this game was actually designed over 11 years ago, and when it first came out, I wasn't that interested really in the War of the Spanish Succession, so I let it pass me by. Now, lately I've become interested in the campaigns of Marlborough, and he figures prominently in this war. They have a counter for him, and that's why I decided to give this game a try. Now, I have not played it yet. I'm just going through the example of play at the end of the rules. Other people have done very fine videos on it, so if you want to really learn how to play the game, I suggest you catch one of those. Now, this will be a very long video. I think the other videos that are available have done a pretty good job of telling you what's out there. I got these off of Board Game Geek. Some enterprising people made their own little charts here. So here's the sides and the colors, a little bit of a terrain effects chart and the stacking values telling you who's who. If you're not familiar with the War of the Spanish Succession, that's a handy little wee player aid. You won't use it though once you get playing the game, once you get to know the sides. Somebody made this little wee battle board, which is kind of handy whenever you have a battle to fight. Just put your pieces on here. And I think I borrowed a counter from another game. Yeah, battle site marker. And whenever you have a battle, I just place it on the board to remind me where the battle was, and then just transfer all the forces to the battle board. So that's something you can do. The board is nice. It's simple. Straight point-to-point game. Spain, France, the Low Countries, the Italian Papal States. Most of the major spaces are fortresses, since that's what was important during this period. Besieging cities was prime. Battles were important, but capturing fortresses and places was much more important. Now, the designer was not trying to reinvent the wheel. He's got some of the things we've become used to with CDG games. The cards, 1s, 2s, 3s, and depending on which card you draw or play, those are the number of command points you get. You start the game with 4 cards in your hand. That's later raised to 5. You also will be rolling for initiative to determine which player decides who is going to go first. Sometimes it's advantageous to go first, sometimes it's advantageous to go second. There's also a deck of political events, which is pretty neat. Like other card-driven games, when you draw that, the event occurs and you do the appropriate change in circumstances on the board. The cards aren't too wordy. They have illustrations, and I thought they're quite nice and give the game a lot of good period feel. As I mentioned, this game did come out 11 years ago, and as it turns out, for me anyway, by waiting, I ended up getting the Deluxe edition. Nice sturdy box, nice thick counters, and a mounted board. So they did a nice job on this edition. Compass, there was errata for the map, not critical. This Compass, in their infinite wisdom, decided to include a decal, which comes with the game. You just paste it over Nice and finale here, finale, and that corrects the board. No problem there. There's a spot where you can place critical cards that have been played to remind you that they had been played. Your standard turn track over there on the left, and the Alliance had the initiative up to 1707, and after that the Bourbons have the initiative. Over on the right there's a track for tracking resources and victory points. You get a mess of dice. It's been called the bucket of dice system, but I find this is a bucket of dice with limits, and never really bothered me. Some games with a bucket of dice system just really bug me. I recall one Gettysburg game where I rolled, I think it was 22 dice and didn't get one single 6. That was a core level attack. Then my opponent, I think, rolled 4 dice and got like 3 6s. And I went, okay. That was enough to turn me off from multiple dice systems for a long time. But somehow it doesn't seem so bad in this game. I don't know why. Maybe I'm not rolling 22 dice and not getting 6s. I'm not sure what it is. But I haven't really played the game, so I can't really comment on its play. You get this foldable chart. It has all kinds of events on it. Spanish events phase, interception rules, event card phase, leader casualties. It's double-sided. More information on the back. List of actions you can do, sequence of play. Virtually the game is on these cards, and once you get to know the game, everything should go pretty smoothly. I'm just going through the example of play in the booklet, and as you know from my other videos, I always work from copies, so I always make a copy of the rules, then start doing my highlighting and yellowing in and buggering up the manual, so to help me learn the game. That's just the way I learn games. You know, for here, for example, type of actions, I put a star there and put red marks around it so they leap out of the page. One thing I can't stand doing is looking at rules, and so I try to alleviate that. The table of contents is good, but there's no index. It's one of the reasons why I highlight my own rules. There is a comprehensive example of play, extended example of play, I should say, and that's what I'm going through right now. Just learning the sieges, I think they're kind of interesting. Most people have commented on that, and I think the comments are quite true. Leaders are rated for their command value, how many cores they can move at the time, and die roll modifiers are actually the add dice to combats. There was an errata sheet for it. Like I said, this game is now 11 years old, so little things probably have cropped up over the years, questions, clarifications. It's 2 pages of errata, which I don't really care for much, but all games have errata. It's just something you have to live with. And this is not game breaking. A lot of it's clarifications to me. Nothing really bad. You can play the game right out of the box. There's no question about that. Now, I didn't utilize any close-ups in this game, so I should wrap up the video with a few of those to show you what the cards are like. Attack on Gibraltar, Forced March. Some of them, as you can see, it says hold until played. Others you must play right away. Bank of England, Alrenstadt, the Great Northern War, political intrigue at Versailles, and so on. There's quite a few of those. And, of course, there's the action deck. Just a generic painting on there, and the card's either a 2, a 3, or a 1. You can see the map, fortress levels, the number of points they're worth. Fortresses can be class 1 or 2. Purple is for the country, in this case France. And you got Bavaria, which is neutral, and it can come in later in the game. There are some counters. Like I said, this is the Deluxe edition. They're very thick, very nice. They fell right out of the tree. They're already curved. I didn't have to take my nail clipper out and start clipping. So overall, a very nice addition of this game. Now, I understand it's spawned at least 2 or 3 sequels by different designers, I might point out. Don Herndon is the original designer, and others have expanded the system, borrowed it, and done one called No Peace Without Honor, which is more the Dutch wars from a previous century. And there is one on the War of the Austrian Succession, which I think is called The Pragmatic Sanction or something like that, where they've added It's a new territory, though most of them have the same game system overall. So really nothing more to say about No Peace Without Spain. I'm glad I bought it. It looks good. I can't wait to play it with an opponent. So let's leave the video with saying goodbye to Marlborough. Anyway, that's it for No Peace Without Spain, and thank you for watching.